Jai Ma, here we are. Another journey, another meditation, another offering. Just so grateful to be in this position, to have the opportunity to share so many more songs and stories with so many people. It's really such a blessing. I can't believe we're at this moment already, in creating an album and the whole process. It's such a long journey. I just can't believe that we're here now, talking about this record. We begin the journey with Blue Sky Mind. This song, I think, was ironically the last song that we wrote for the album. When I left North Carolina and came home, I had, I think we recorded like 14 or 15 songs, and I was, sitting with them all, listening to them, meditating on them, letting them find their way as to where they wanted to sit on the record and how the record was going to, present itself. And during that process, I realized, I really think we need some sort of intro. We need some sort of intention setter, sankalpa. And that's when Blue Sky Mind was born. I made it right here in my home studio, and it's just interesting because I feel like it asked the question, how you gonna get free this time, but it also, in a way says the answer too. It's in and through the body. So it's cool. It kind of gives the full picture, right away. And this line, this phrase, Blue Sky Mind, it's been kind of like a mantra for me. It's lived with me for so many years. It came from an experience I had on the Big Island of Hawaii. I went to see a healer there named Diane, and long story short, we had a session together, like a clearing. And during that session, she looked at me and she said, whenever you have any negative emotions or thoughts or feelings like this, whenever you're being drowned in that drama, she's like, you have to cut it, and she said, Blue Sky Mind, and she would go like that, Blue Sky Mind. And it was just like kind of shock me. But those words really lived with me, and have been living with me for so long. And I'm happy that that mantra in a way made it onto this album, and really, most importantly, really set the intention for the album. That's kind of the beginning of the journey, and that's what sets the tone for the whole record. So very, very happy to open with that, open with the Blue Sky Mind. Without expectation, this song is super important to me, super sentimental, just because this was the first song that I made with Brad, the producer, Brad Cook. Brad is an incredible individual, one of the most musical people I've ever met, most creative, person I've ever met in a way, and had such a freedom, created so much space around the recording process, the creative process, and I learned so much from him. When you're a fan of somebody, and then that's one thing, but then when you meet them, it can be a whole nother thing, and you never really know how it's gonna go. And I remember that first moment when I met Brad at the studio in Durham. I flew out there for like 3 days just to vibe, just to see, hey, can we do anything here, and I was just completely blown away. I was completely blown away by him, and just by the whole energy around him, And this song, I remember when we that first day when I came into the studio and we were talking and sharing music back and forth and just kind of, you know, just feeling each other out, before we started like the actual creative process, he was just like, I'm without expectation. You know, he's like, he's like, I don't have any expectations. Let's just flow. And that was so refreshing for me because it really took a lot of pressure off me. And also that's how I like to be in my process as well. I don't try to think about anything, have a goal for anything. It's just, I just like to let that energy move me. We were in the studio, and I had just sat down in front of the mic and I was just fiddling around on a little melody on the guitar, and he came into the room and started playing the piano, and I think we vibed for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then we were like, let's do this, let's record this, because we were going to record another song that I had already kind of written, we were like, no, let's just do this, let's just do something fresh. And that whole day we just were in on this song. We were just throwing stuff at it, I just knew then, I knew like I want to work with this guy, you know. So this song is really special to me because it was that moment of like, that first moment of like real connection with Brad. The song, the words to this song, the spoken part of this song was really inspired by a Rumi poem that was shared to me by a great teacher. And it talks about this robe of patches, you know, this where it says, one of my favorite lines, this, I see your robe of patches, it's perfectly arranged, you know, it's just, you just come as you are, you know, we don't have any expectation, you know, you come into this room of acceptance, of spaciousness, of love, you know, let it, and then the chorus, and, you know, let us share, don't be scared, a common truth or something new, all we gotta do is try. And those words really, I felt like really embodied a lot of the process with Brad. Let's just try, you know. Brad was so keen on just sussing out every avenue, creative avenue. Don't worry about time, don't worry about this or that organization, let's just, you know, let's just go, you know, let's just create. And again, that freedom just really taught me so much. Before that, I would usually try to, you know, I'd make a song and I'd just kind of, oh yeah, that's cool, let's just do that, or that's cool, let's do that, you know. But Brad was like, that's cool, but let's just keep going, you know, or that, yeah, that's cool, but let's keep going. And that patience that he had was so beautiful. So yeah, this song really sentimental to me, really important to me, just because of our relationship that was formed. And this song in a way too also sets an intention, you know, like Blue Sky Mine sets the intention. All we gotta do is try. Just come in the room, all we gotta do is try. So that's without expectation. The next song on our journey is I Remember You. This song I believe I had a demo for. I believe I recorded a demo here at home. I brought it to, you know, to Brad, and Brad just kind of refined it, you know. I hadn't finished it here. It was just a song that I think I only had like a first verse and the chorus in a way, and I knew I really wanted to finish it for this project. It was really important to me. It was like a really new song and a new idea, but I was like, I really, you know, and Brad helped me do that, you know. But this song is really about remembering our highest self, you know, our truest nature. One of my favorite lines in the song, you know, it's calling out to the way you were, the way you are, calling out to the way you'll always be, you know, calling out to that place within us that is one without a second, you know, that is eternal, that is birthless, that is deathless, stainless, you know, pure. It can't be, it's unaffected, you know. It's the eternal space of the heart, and it's that calling out, you know. I remember you, not you like your, you know, personality, this and that, but your supreme personality. I remember you. Do you remember too? You know, do you remember who you really are? Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just a song that really helps me sit back in that seat, you know, sit in that seat of my higher self in a way, to rise above any, you know, petty drama or stuff I've created, you know, in my head, stuff like this. Yeah, so it's just, and it has a joyful expression to it, you know, because that place is full of joy, and joy, and like living in joy and walking in joy and being in that place of ananda, that bliss, was a big theme for the whole album, was a big theme for the album. Where other albums, I think I was, you know, struggling in a lot of ways, and, you know, really going into the dark and figuring things out, you know, and I always thought it was like this really serious process, but this journey has taken on a little bit of a different shape, and I think that missing element was, or different element, whatever it may be, was that joyful approach. We made the song, and, you know, when we recorded it, we had this super long outro that we were just cruising on, when we got back home, I was thinking, okay, what do we want to put there? You know, we had talked about different things, and then I called my friend Max Ribner, the horn player, and he just really brought it to life, and it was really exciting for me to, you know, open up my my computer and get the files from him and play them and be like, wow, you know, this song just took on a whole another aspect. We haven't really had a lot of horns on any of our albums, so it was a really cool, like, different element, but it just added to the celebration of the self, you know, added to that celebration, and was the perfect addition. So I'm really grateful to Max for that, yeah, again, joy. joy, you know, that's the Russ, that's the mood of this tune. I remember you. We enter Open Doors. This is a tune, a real celebratory tune, you know, inspired by a great Bengali mystic saint named Sri Ramakrishna. He said he would often say, "Here all doors are open," and that I've thought about that a lot. You know, this place, all doors are open. You know, nothing's closed off. You know, and in this song, you know, I'm talking about opening the doors of my heart, opening them up to love, to acceptance, to you know, these things that we all long for, you know, in some degree, in some way. But I find it funny, at least for me as a human, that, you know, we almost close off to the things that we want, you know, where we close off to the things that will bring us happiness, will bring us that peace. It's just kind of strange how we do that. And I feel like for a long time, I've been closed off to so much, or I close myself off to so much love and support in for some weird way, some twisted, you know, way. This song is really about, you know, opening those doors up, you know, opening those doors up, and the fullness of that experience. You know, I got all of my doors are open. We got a full moon in that sky. I'm leaving that darkness broken, blowing smoke rings out my mind. You know, I'm yeah, flushing all that out. You know, and I state, you know, I kind of state in this triumphant, like, I'm not afraid of shining, I'm not afraid of love. You know, I'm gonna stop denying. This time I won't run. That's just the mood, you know. Rah, I ain't afraid of shine. So it's got a bit of a warrior element, a warrior status element to it, which is refreshing for me to step into, to kind of, because it's kind of a rare place for me to step into, I think. And the other really special thing about this song was it features my mom, my sister, and my wife singing the background vocals. Which was totally unplanned. They came to visit me during the recording process, and we're hanging out in the studio, and we were doing the song, and I had originally sung those background vocals in kind of a fake falsetto, you know, I ain't afraid of shining, you know, and they were all there, and I just thought, oh my God, like, you guys should sing this, you know, part. They're like, no. I was like, yes, like, this is an amazing moment, let's do this. And it was just so awesome to bring them all into the recording room and put their headphones on and put their mics in front of them, and they just totally crushed it. And just for me, just to hear my mother, you know, the one who, you know, gave birth to me, you know, singing her voice on this, it's just such a blessing for me, you know. My sister, you know, my wife, like, these three warrior goddesses, it's just a really sentimental moment for me, and a moment that's filled with love, which is what this song is about, Open Doors. Great Storm Clouds. This is a tune that I played for the first time at Boulder Theater for our Thanksgiving shows. And I remember I wrote the song like that week, and I just felt spontaneous and was like, I'm just gonna, I don't know, I feel like playing this song, I'm gonna do it. And it was kind of a vulnerable, you know, space for me to be in, because the song really, I opened up a little bit about my battles with depression and anxiety and these types of things. But, you know, I sang this song, and so many people commented on it. You know, like this whole weekend we did so many things, like 2 concerts, and, you know, fed a bunch of folk, and you know, but everybody that wrote me or everything was like, oh, that new song you played, Great Storm Clouds, really touched me. So I felt good about sharing it in the end. But the song really is about that fullness, you know, the fullness of the human experience, I guess, and not pushing away any aspect, yeah, of our journey, you know. I think, you know, whenever feelings of depression or anxiety come up, as, you know, for me or whatever, I'm like, oh, I want to cut this off, you know. I want to get this out, you know. I push against it, you know. But this song, it kind of takes a different approach, or this attitude of one of fullness, one of acceptance, you know. The first verse, you know, it's like up and down it goes, like waves on my own home. Is that it? Up and down it goes like a great wave upon my own. That's it. It's just that feeling, you know, in our minds where we're going up, we're going down, we're going up and down. And somebody like me who just identifies with every emotion I have, it can be a roller coaster, you know. So it's about, yeah, just kind of that ride, and then all the questions of the mind trying to show, you know, that I got darkness, I got light, and I have everything in between, you know, unlimited potential, you know, but don't deny any side. I don't cut branches off my tree. You know, this was told to me by a dear friend of mine. She says, we don't cut any branches off this tree, you know, we let it grow in its fullness. And it's been really healing for me. It's been really a different way of approaching struggles within myself, within my mind, like this, not pushing away, not cutting anything off, just sitting in the fullness of it all, has been a great lesson, you know. Because when we do that, you know, we see that everything is related, you know, like in the chorus, you know, great storm clouds holding rain. It's a part of nature to hold a bit of pain. All in all, the rain falls, we watch a new thing grow. It's because that rain, it's because we have all this fresh energy can grow. These trees, the forest, like this, the forest of our bodies can grow, you know. So yeah, it's about that fullness. It's about that radical acceptance of every aspect of one's journey, not trying to cut anything off. And it's been, yeah, again, it's been so healing for me. The song has been so healing for me, and I hope that you know, it provides healing for you know, others as well. Great storm clouds. We in a Different Room. This song, one of my favorites on the record. It's had quite a journey of its own. I originally recorded it here in my studio, and then I sent it to Johnny Cosmic, who mixed the whole record, who's just an incredible sonic genius, really a crucial element to this whole project. And he sent it back to me, and I was just like, whoa, you know, it took on this whole new life. And then we took that version to North Carolina, and again refined it more. You know, we added real drums. Brad's brother Phil Cook, incredible musician, Lord have mercy, played harmonica and piano on the song, and it just really grew so much from its original conception, I guess. And you know, this, you know, usually in my songwriting process, in my musical whatever process, I've always kind of written from a kind of abstract way, in a way, imaginative, dreamlike kind of space, where at first I may not know what a song is about. The meaning kind of reveals itself much later. It's kind of unclear initially, whereas this whole record, it's a lot more grounded for me. I really kind of dive deeply into my human emotions, and I felt like spoke my ideas in a little bit more of a grounded way, whereas this song, We in a Different Room, kind of has elements of that old writing style. Not old, but you know, just my usual writing style, I guess, you know. And We in a Different Room relates to we're in a different, you know, space, you know. We're in a we're in an inner way. We're going in an inwardly direction. Whereas I feel like in our world, you know, and we're always, as humans, we're always going out, you know, we're always looking around, looking for things outside of ourselves and reaching for those things. And whereas We in a Different Room is talking about, no, we're not going that way. We're backwards pilgrims. You know, we're going in a different way, and we're in a different room, that room of the heart, that room of the essential self, I guess. And that place has a different culture, right? We value different things. We have different, we put importance on different things. That's our way. We're going in this way, you know. And in that place, in that room, there is a madness of joy, a madness of freedom, you know, a madness that we hope to grow, you know. I just love the line, you know, now I go crazy, now you go too. It's a different culture, we're in a different room. It's just like, we're in a different way, you know, and that's the room I want to enter. That's the room that I want to be in eternally. And everything else, you know, all the different imagery in this song is the visions that we see in that room, or the visions in my own experience, you know, experience of what I'm seeing in that place when I enter that place. And I think that place can be different for everybody, you know. I think for artists, it could be kind of like that flow state, you know, where once you're in that room, everything else disappears, you know. That's why music is so healing for me, because I feel like when I enter that room, that house of sound, everything else falls away, you know, and I'm left with what is essential. And that's that healing journey of music, of sound, you know. So I hope to remain in that, or enter that room, you know. I hope to, and when I do enter that room, I hope to remain in that room for as long as possible. But that's what this song relates to. We in a different room. Monsoon Cloud is a song about a journey that I took with my wife to Nepal. My wife has spent lots of time in Nepal. She's practically Nepali at this point. And she's traveled all over the country and has really immersed herself in Nepali culture, ways of life, beliefs, and it's really like her deep love, you know. And I've been very privileged over the years to have traveled there with her a few times. She's taken me over there 3 or 4 times, and it's become like a home for me as well. But I had never been to the villages of Nepal, and my wife was always referred to them as like, that's the real Nepal, that's where the magic is, and I want to take you, you know, for so long. But whenever I would go with her, time wouldn't allow me to make that journey with her to go out into the villages, until recently, our most recent trip there. We ended up going to Nepal to participate in our friend's health camp. Our friend Himalayan Quests, they have an incredible group of people that go out into these villages and provide service for these villagers, whether it be medical or structural, food, whatever it may be. And this particular camp was for cataracts, was for the eyes, because a lot of villagers, they have lots of problems with their eyes, and it's a very simple procedure for them to be, their vision to be fixed. So anyway, we traveled out of Kathmandu. We took a bus for about 7 or 8 hours in extreme, like, dusty dirt roads. Like, it was the monsoon at that time, so everything's wet and muddy, and like it was a long, bumpy bus ride. But the further we got out, you know, the further I was like, wow, this is, I'm in a different place, you know. And we ended up driving up these mountain roads, and we eventually stopped at this, you know, on the side of the road. That's it. And I thought, oh, we're here, you know. And they go, no, now we have to walk, you know, like 3 hours into this village. And I was like, wow, this is wild, you know. And it was just an incredible experience to make the journey, you know, through the forest into this village, Shorshu, in Rasua district. You know, the fog was rolling in and out, you know, you'd be walking for miles, and all of a sudden a villager would like appear out of the fog and namaste, and continue on. You're just like, where are you going? You know, what is your reality? You know, it was just really far out, really awesome. And anyway, we arrived at this village and participated in this health camp. And the amazing thing about about doing this was, you know, there's no telephones up there, there's no email, there's no nothing. People communicate through word of mouth. And so as we're walking into this village, you know, our friend and guide is any villager he passes, he says, oh, come tomorrow, you know, this village, we have these 2 doctors with us, we're doing a health camp. And then that villager tells another villager this, and this, and eventually the word spreads. And that next day, hundreds of people, these villagers, came from all over that area, walked for hours, for miles, you know, just to get their eyes checked or have their loved ones' eyes checked. And because of that, we saw so many different flavors of the village, and I was just thrown into this environment that was just so simple and pure and magical, and it was just really amazing. It was really, really amazing. But the deeper thing about it was I felt like I was meeting my wife again, in a way, or on a deeper level, or almost like meeting like her essence, because this was her place, you know, this was her deep love that she has been talking about for so many years and has been supporting for so many years. And it was just wild for me to have, you know, been married to her for so many years. To have that feeling of meeting her again was really beautiful for me. So the song is like a love song, you know, and it's, you know, I could see the mountains written on your skin. They were telling me something of where you've been. You know, I was thinking about all these different, I had a little bit more of a picture of all these other stories she was relating to, you know. And so I just felt like I was, yeah, just falling in again, you know, falling in again. And so it's kind of like an ode to her and to her love for Nepal and those people. It also contains the experience of that journey to that village, yeah, it's just a song for her. I'm with you all of my days, you know. Monsoon Cloud. Next up we have the hissing song, Fire on Your House. This song, where do I begin with this song? Yeah, this album, you know, is about the human. It's about all the different aspects of the human, and being honest in all different emotions, you know. And I feel like, you know, it's not that this song is not like the typical Trevor Hall song, but I think as we, you know, go through our lives, we kind of get perhaps caught up in the personalities that we have built and the image of ourselves that we have built. And I think especially when you're like an artist, you know, when you're maybe more like in a public setting, you even do that even more, you know, and you kind of like get attached to this, yeah, just persona of yourself, and you're not really relating to your real feelings, your own feelings. I feel like maybe, you know, the way that, you know, how do I say it, like, I've been caught up, yeah, I've been caught up in the image of myself, that persona, many times, you know, and I wanted to be honest in all aspects of myself for this record. I wanted to really just strip down all the walls and all the BS in a way, you know, and part of that was to release this song, you know. That's my dog at the door. You know, I've been in the music business for, I don't know, maybe like 15 years, you know, and I've kind of, I got into it really young and went through all these, you know, all the the hurdles, I think, of being on a major label, an independent label. Now we're completely independent, and you know, I just experienced so much. And especially when you're really young, you have so many people telling you what to do. You know, you have so many people telling you how to act and how to dress and what type of persona to be, you know, what type of persona to present. And you know, when you're young, especially when you're young, I think, you know, we trust that because, oh, these people are grown-ups, they know more than me. But that doesn't mean that it's right or true, you know. And as I went through that process, you know, a lot of trust was broken with different folks, and I went through a lot of tough times, and I'm thankful for those times. You know, those times really, you know, brought me obviously to who I am today. But I would always hold that stuff in, you know, I'd always hold that in because anger is not a part of my persona, you know. And because I would hold that in, you know, it became unhealthy because I didn't have anywhere to direct it. And music has always been my healer. It has always been my way of expressing things and releasing things. And I made this song not to release. You know, that wasn't the intention of the song. It was just, I was here, I was at my limit, you know, at my breaking point in a way, and I needed to just scream and shout and let it out. So I recorded the demo like this, and I only showed it to a few people, a few close friends, my manager, and they were just like, you have to release this song. Like, you have to be honest about everything and release this song. And I was like, no way, we can't do this, you know, what are people gonna think? I don't wanna, you know, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But the conversation was just, it didn't go away. And when we went to North Carolina and presented all the songs to Brad, he said the same thing. He really talked me into being 100% honest with everything, and really convinced me to, yeah, put this song out to the world. And I think it's important to understand the difference between like hissing and biting, which brings me to a story that it really was the theme for this song. You know, it's told by a great saint of India, and the parable, the story goes that in a village, in this open field, there is a snake living in this field, and you know, none of the children would go play in this field. None of the villagers would enter this field because that snake would always, you know, it would harm them. You know, that was their belief. Because it would bite them like this and that. And one day, a mendicant, you know, a monk yogi was passing through this village and was about to pass into the field, and all the villagers said, "Oh, no, 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 you can't go out there. There's a harmful snake out there." And the monk wasn't afraid. He said, "I'm not afraid of this." So he goes out, and the snake comes out, raises its hood, the whole thing, and the monk gives this snake a talking to, you know, and gives him a mantra, gives him a magical mantra, and says, you should meditate upon this mantra, and you shouldn't cause harm to anyone, you know. And the snake, being taken, you know, by this monk and having this love for this monk, you know, becomes a student in a way of this monk, and he follows those directions. He repeats his mantra, and he doesn't harm anyone. Well, as time goes on, the kids, you know, of the village and the people of the village realize, oh, the snake isn't really harming anybody. So they, you know, throw stones at the snake, they pick it up and bash it to the ground and all this stuff, and the snake just gets bruised like this, and over the years gets really skinny and hurt and damaged and all this stuff, and eventually doesn't even come out of its hole, you know. And about a year later or so, this monk returns to the village and asks about his disciple, his student, the snake. And they said, oh, that snake has died. We haven't seen the snake for so long, that snake has died. And the monk said, that's impossible because of the mantra I gave the snake. So he goes out into the field and he calls for the snake, and the snake slithers out of its hole. It's all bruised and like this and everything. And he says, you know, well, what happened to you? You know, and the snake said, oh, the villagers have been beating me like this, and I've just been here, you know, repeating my mantra and not, you know, harming anyone like you said. And the monk said, well, why didn't you defend yourself? Why didn't you protect yourself? And he said, well, but Guruji, you told me that I shouldn't harm anybody like this. And the monk said, I told you not to bite, but I didn't tell you not to hiss, you know. And that was the lesson of this, this story, was that, you know, we don't want to cause harm, right? But we have to stick up for ourselves. We have to defend ourselves. We have to show a bit of anger in a way to draw a boundary, but we don't lose love or anything like this. And that was kind of the parable behind the story, behind the song, or the inspiration behind the song. The inspiration for me, yeah, showing a little bit of hissing and releasing it in order to be honest, with all aspects of my emotions. Yeah, fire on your house. More Than Love. This song has a kind of a cool story behind it in a way. You know, this song was written at a time in my relationship with my wife when we were really kind of going through it, you know. All relationships have their challenges, you know, and ups and downs and struggles, and that's how we grow and learn. And not everything is always, you know, rainbows and butterflies, as we know. But we were in a tough time, you know, we were in a tough time, a tough point, and I think both of us really were trying so hard and didn't really know what to do in a way, you know. And it's when we get to those places, I think, where we really, that's when we really surrender, you know, and let go, when we're kind of, yeah, just don't know which way to turn, you know. And we were in a tough spot. I think I was on tour. My wife was traveling to Cuba for an assignment. She was working with a company there. And while she was there, she met a Babalawo. And a Babalawo, in my limited understanding, is kind of like an oracle in a way, kind of like a seer, a high priest, or yeah, just somebody people go to, and he can provide healings, divinations, you know, this type of thing. And my wife had the opportunity to have like a reading, or a reading from this Babalawo. And in the reading, he brought us up, you know, me and her up, without any, you know, indication from my wife, you know. And he said many things to her about what we needed to do to kind of change to this, or to untie this knot, I guess, that we were in. At one point he said, you know, you have to learn to see each other in a different way, because you've come for more than love, you know. Like, oh man, you know, and when she told me that, I was like, wow, more than love, like, what does that mean, you know? And it's still something I think both of us are continuing to unpack until to this day, you know. And I think, you know, I think it refers to the duty, you know, the duty of the Dharma, I guess, you know, I think relationships are not only just for enjoyment, you know, they're for growth, they're for learning, they're for acceptance, sacrifice, these things. I think today in our modern world, you know, some words like sacrifice and this, they kind of scare us a bit, but I think that we've missed out, maybe lost a bit of our understanding of those things, of the nobility of those things. And I think that that's perhaps maybe what he was referring to. We came for more than love, you know, and when we're able to really follow our dharma and commit to that, you know, beautiful things will happen. But it doesn't mean it's easy. It's not supposed to be easy, you know. And this song is kind of about, you know, don't run, you know, we came for more than love. Let us remember, you know, why we came together, what this union is for, you know. It's not just to satisfy our own selfish desires in a way, you know. It's for other things too, you know. Yeah, it's the song that was kind of born out of that time of struggle, but really provided such a good lesson for us, a good marker in our journey. More than love, yeah. Gotta stay in there. This next song, Her, it features my wife, Emery, and this song is really cool because it's a song that we wrote together. You know, it's a song, we were just whatever, having like a chill day. I think we're a little bored or whatever, you know, and we kind of came up here and like, let's just write a song together. Let's just like write, it can be whatever, silly or this and that, or, you know, no expectations. Let's just, you know. So we just, yeah, we sat down and we were just vibing off each other and just, oh, I like that, and or let's do this, and we're just bouncing off each other. It was really cool. It was the first time we've ever like done that as far as music. And we recorded this little idea, you know, it's like only like 45 seconds of this idea, and whatever, kept it on the computer, and that was that. Time went on. I went to North Carolina and to record this record, and in the beginning of the process, you know, we went through my whole catalog of demos. We went through, it was so many songs, like 30, 35 songs. I forget the exact number, but that was like the first thing we did, Brad and I. And we listened to each song and we'd like kind of like note, we want to do this one, or I vote for this one, or, you know, like this. And when Her came up, I was like, oh, this is just like a little idea, like we don't have any. Brad's like, no, I want to hear everything, you know. And I played it for him and he was just like, that one. And I was like, what? You know, that I didn't expect it to be chosen, just because, again, it was just like a little fun day that we were having. But he was like, no, we need to finish this song. The song was really cool. And he really helped round it out and give it some more form. And I wrote the second verse, and then my wife was there, which was great. She got to sing on it, and we made this song. We truly made this song together, and it became one of my favorite songs, you know, on the whole record, just from this little funny idea that we had one day. We should never take anything for granted, you know. This song, you know, it's about the intimate moments, you know. I feel like it's about, it just says it right there in the chorus, you know, something that we talk about but don't show. I feel like in today's world, especially with like social media and all these things, you know, everybody's just putting out everything that we do, you know, in a way, or we're sharing, you know, all of our moments, you know, which is good, I think, in some ways. You know, we're sharing, we're connecting and stuff, but also it's not good in other ways, because when we share intimate things, I feel like they lose power, you know. Once they're put out, they lose their shakti in a way, their power, their essence in a way. I've always been taught, by a lot of my teachers to always not show the intimate things. We can relate to certain things in this, but when we really get into the details of things, it's not wise to share those things because they can leave us, And so I think that this song is kind of relating to that. It's kind of giving these clues, in the verses, and then when we get to the chorus, it's something that we talk about but don't show, and that's why it's special. That's why it's special for us, and we want to keep it that way. And that's okay. That we should be allowed to keep some things inside. These days everybody has an opinion about everything, and again, we're sharing so much, and we're just in this time of out, but not a lot of folk are keeping things in, and I think we really have to hold on to those intimate spaces. That's what makes our life rich. That's what makes our hearts rich, and I feel like people can feel that richness without us telling every detail about it. So that's what this song's about. It's about that intimacy and that almost secrecy in a way. Yeah. Never Gonna Break Your Heart. This song, I love this song. This song and My Own, they were actually recorded in Ohio, and this was before I met Brad or anything like that. We decided as a band to take a week, go to our drummer's studio, Jeff's studio in Ohio, and just record, and to see like if we had the confidence. Well, I think they all had the confidence, but I myself was like, can I do this? Can I record, make this album on my own in a way, or make these songs on our own. And it was great for us because it was a confidence booster. We had such an epic time all together as a band, and got to record these songs, and it was just really special just to bounce off each other, and so yeah, these songs are different in that way, that they were recorded before North Carolina, but they fit so perfectly, within the album. We couldn't leave them out. And this song is special too for me because this song kind of erases the line between the human and the divine in a way, It's both, And I remember when Siley Oak, the Indian singer who sings on this song, who sung on a few different projects for us, just an incredible singer. When I asked her to sing on this, she heard the song, and the first thing she asked was, "Is this human or divine, or both?" she said, and I said, okay, I think you've tapped into the vibe, of the tune. And that conversation between the human and the divine, like this is it, that, whatever, has been like one of the main themes for In and Through the Body. That's what this album is really about, getting into my humanness. And I've always tried to cut off like my human emotions in a way, because I felt like they weren't as noble or something as like divine experiences, and it's very impractical. Caused me a lot of ups and downs. But a lot of the most divine people I felt like I've met in my life, they've been the most human, so incredibly human, so refreshingly human. And to draw that line and between the two, where those two become one, is really healing, yeah, to my heart. But this song is about that state of love, 100%, falling in love over and over again. I'm being called into your love. I'm being called into your love. Where does it stop and begin? It's endless. It's beginningless, because of that. I'm never gonna break your heart. That line is speaking to me. I feel like it's speaking to me from another perspective. Hey, I'm never gonna break your heart. And it's also me speaking to my beloved, you know, my wife, I'm never gonna break your heart, you know. It's just, yeah, it's just such a celebratory song, you know. Even in the song it says, you know, how do the two become one, you know. That is the power of love, you know. I'm never gonna break your heart. I'm never gonna break your heart. So it's really fun song to record. Has that joyful element that, and it always just, no cliche, you know, it always opens up my heart whenever I hear it or sing it, and it's been a really healing song for me. Yeah. Next song on the journey is a song called My God. This song was inspired by a journey that my wife took to Nepal to travel with the Jankris, the Bombos. Those are the Nepali shamans, to a sacred lake called Gosai Kunda. It's a lake that sits at about 15,000 feet up in the Himalayas. It's a long journey to get there, to trek there. At this time in August, on the full moon, usually in August, I think it's called Janai Purnima, the shamans journey to this holy lake to perform their ceremonies up there. And we were told about this kind of yatra, this journey by our Nepali brother, and we became so, you know, interested in it and fascinated in it and really wanted to make the journey. But I, because of work and this and that, I couldn't get there, and so my wife went alone. She went with our Nepali brother Amrit Dai, and journeyed up to this lake with the shamans. And I didn't have any contact with her because, you know, up there's no phones, no service, nothing like this. So for like a week or so, I didn't have any contact with her. I was only left to my imagination, I guess. And I was only left to the feelings and meditations I was getting from her being there, you know. And even though I physically wasn't there, I truly feel like I went there because of her. I don't know how, it's so strongly in my heart and my being, I felt like I was there, perhaps, you know, because she herself went there and we're linked. So it was really moving for me. I wrote this song kind of based off those feelings, based off the meditation of the shamans being there at that high mountain lake and performing their ceremonies. The visions that were, I guess, coming to me because of me thinking about those things. That's what this song is based off of. I had this undeniable feeling of being there, and it needed to be expressed, and that's what this song is kind of about, paying tribute to their mood and their connection with the divine. I was very lucky to have Parvati Baul, a great Indian singer, a great teacher of ours. I took one of her discussions, her talks on the Divine Mother Kali, and kind of cut it up and put it in that bridge part, which I think really made the meditation so much deeper. And the song song's a rooted song. It puts me in such a mood, but it's really paying homage to the Nepali Bombos, the shamans. My God. My Own is the next tune on the album. This song, like Never Gonna Break Your Heart, like I was explaining, was recorded in Ohio. And we were very blessed to have 3 amazing goddesses sing on this song, which really brought it to life. But this song is inspired by Sri Sharda Devi, great Indian saint. She's pictured here, actually her portrait's here. She commonly talked about this attitude of being one's very own, right? Of the feeling of that intimacy. She really stressed this to a lot of people, and the sweetness, the extreme closeness of being one's very own. Not my own in the way of possession, right? It's my own in a way of intimacy, I believe, you know. And to be that close, that connected, like to become one, you know. That's what this song is about. And this song is kind of longing for that space, right? Calling out to one's beloved. You know, I don't want to be a stranger. I don't want you to be a stranger. I want to be your very own, you know. And I want to call you my very own. You know, I want to be tied to your soul. That extreme love, that just, oof. You know, so this song kind of takes that position of crying out, right? So it has that element of longing and that element of intimacy and craving for that space, craving for that attitude with one's divine partner, or the object of one's love. That's what My Own's about. All thanks to Holy Mother, Sharda Devi. The Old Story is the next song on our journey, and this song is, I think it may be like the rawest song on the album, like both sonically and emotionally. This song I was really lucky to have my wife Emery sing on. I remember it came to me like as I was falling asleep. I remember the line, "Oh no, 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 you just got it." The melody, everything came, and I was like, "Oh my God!" And I had to get out of bed and, like, you know, write it down. But this song is really about, you know, letting go, and yeah, just letting go and realizing what's in front of you, and like getting to the truth in a way, you know. Sometimes the stories that we create in our heads and we run after, you know, and we're not even present. We don't even realize who we are if you get deep enough into those things, you know. And it's only when we can let those things go and kind of cut through the illusion of our own stories, that we can, you know, get to the truth of ourselves and where we're at. And that's what this song's about. You know, the lyrics are really, really, yeah, just kind of raw, and you know, where are you gonna run to if you're gonna run from here? You know, you're only running from your own fear. Gotta let it die, gotta let it go its own way. You know, it's just those things of not creating something and in your mind and running after an illusion in a way. You know, we have to cut through those things and be where we are, and stories that we've told ourselves for so long, you know, stories that we've told ourselves for so long and that we've made so real. We have to let those things go, and that's what this song is about, letting those things go and arriving in the present and being grateful for what's around you. The Old Story. We're kind of getting to the end of this journey here. The second to last song, Khan, is a song that was actually created after the recording process, or after North Carolina. You know, when I'm in the creative process, when I'm recording even at home or making a new album, everything else kind of falls away. Like, I'm so immersed in that journey that I can't really give my energy or pay it too much attention to what's going on around me in a way. I mean, I guess that's part of the healing aspect of it. But while we were recording in North Carolina, you know, COVID was really spreading, you know, and but because we were in our own little world, you know, making this album, I wasn't really paying attention to what was going on. You know, by the end of the day, you know, leaving the studio and going back to the hotel, I was so exhausted from, you know, putting out so much energy that I just needed to like watch hockey. Or so I remember the playoffs were happening at that time, so I was watching a lot of hockey. But I remember when we finished recording and I went to the airport in North Carolina to fly back home, and I walk into the airport and everybody has these face masks on, and I'm like, what the, you know, like, what's going on? And I landed back in Colorado, and a few days later the quarantine happened, really, the stay at home lockdown, the whole thing, and it was just like, whoa, you know. And it was really wild because I got back and I was still kind of on fire with all this creative energy from being with Brad and recording the record, that it was like it wasn't over. And because I couldn't go anywhere, I was here in this room, just continued just to create. And that's when Con was kind of born. Con is a song that, you know, talks about the impermanence of us and everything, you know, and that's what I think, you know, coming back and like thinking about COVID and all this stuff, and it's like, you know, it really stripped all of us, you know, and I think that's the blessing of it. I think that when something like this happens, it doesn't just pick this type of person or that type of, it doesn't matter if you're in a mansion or in an apartment or live the, you know, all these lines that we draw around ourselves and imaginary lines, something like this kind of, it strips all that, it burns all that away. Nothing is permanent, you know, and that's what this song is kind of, I think, referring to, you know, everything passing and changing. I can see memories fade, and, you know, all of these patterns of weather, nothing is lasting forever, you know, that's what this song is talking about. And I think when we're able to accept that impermanence, accept that change, we enter a different room, you know, a room that doesn't have any fear, you know, and that's and it's a royal place, you know, and Con is a royal name, it's a kingly name, you know, and that's kind of what this song is about, is the impermanence of it all. But when we're able to accept that and enter a different space, you know, we're in a royal way, we're walking in a royal way, and that's Con. Yeah. Oh, we've arrived at the end, a bittersweet feeling. Walking through the door. This is this I made while we were in the studio in North Carolina, and you know, Brad had really introduced me to so much during this whole process. He introduced me to so many ways of thinking and creating, but also so many different tools, you know, so many different instruments, so many different ways of cutting things up and this and that. And one keyboard that he showed me is what I created this song on, and it was cool because, you know, when you meet a new instrument, you meet a new way of creativity, you meet a new way of creation, and it's really refreshing. And I think that's what happened with this. But this I made, I was cutting things up, you know, and I was sampling one of my favorite singers of all time, Kumar Gandharva, with such a heavenly voice. You don't need to know what he's saying. He doesn't need to be singing about anything. He can just sing, and his sound is it just brings you into a space. And I sampled him, and I made this kind of meditative, you know, track, and I was gonna sing over it, but I just, as time went on, I was just like, nah, I just have to leave this the way it is. It's a mood, you know, and some things, you know, some things are more powerful without words, you know, and I think especially at the conclusion of the record, you know, we're at this place, we've gone through all these different emotions, all these different feelings. At the conclusion, you know, it's like we've eaten so much, we're full, you know, we can't speak in a way. And this was kind of the last, the mood, I guess, if we were going to walk through that door, you know, back into our real house, you know, within our bodies, within the chamber of the heart. What would that feel like, you know? And what would that sound like, you know? And it was my kind of, and this song is kind of like, I guess, my imagination of what that would sound like, walking back into our truest essence, walking through the door. And that's what completes the record, you know. That's the final mood, the final taste, and we're left with that, I guess, residue, that sonic residue, that feeling of stepping back into our hearts. And that is in and through the body. Hope you enjoy. Jai Guru, Jai Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Guru.